What's going on, everybody? On YouTube, Steve here, Raiken Profit, coming back to you guys with another video. And in today's video, I want to share with you 7 mistakes to avoid before you start selling clothing on eBay. So I've been selling clothing on eBay for about 5 or 6 years. I've sold thousands of pieces of items. And if you're looking to get started selling clothing, but maybe you're unsure of yourself or you want to avoid certain mistakes, you have found the right video. So I'm going to go over these 7 mistakes that you must avoid in order to be successful selling clothing on eBay. So without further ado, if you're ready to rock and roll, smash that like button and let's get right into it. So the first mistake that a lot of eBay sellers make, and especially if you're selling clothing on eBay, is horrible lighting. A lot of people are new, if they're new, they don't really have like a lighting setup, or they don't have like umbrella lights. Like behind me, I've got an umbrella light right there, which I'm obviously not using for this video. But a lot of people don't have a lighting setup, so they're trying to rely on natural lighting. And here's the problem, guys. You can have the best camera in the world, but if your lighting is off, the pictures are gonna come out like crap. And when it comes to selling clothing on eBay, there's 1,000,001 other sellers, so you gotta make sure that your pictures stand out. So invest in a lighting kit. If you can't afford it, you can always take pictures away from the window. Like right now, the lighting isn't the best. I'm working with what I've got, but I've got the natural light behind me. Plus I have a little bit of light on the side over here from one of the umbrellas. But if you shoot away from the light, away from a window, sometimes you can get good enough light and the pictures or the quality will be sufficient. So the number one rule that I'm trying to make here and share with you is it's really important to have good lighting. It doesn't matter how good your camera is, your background, if you have a backdrop, it doesn't matter. Lighting is so important. Go on eBay, go on Amazon. I'll try to link up a lighting kit that I use down below, but you can get away with it for probably 50, 60, upwards to $100, and you get yourself a lighting kit and your pictures are they're gonna look perfect. So make sure that you get good lighting. Mistake number 2 that a lot of sellers make when selling clothing on eBay, especially the ones who are getting started, is they're not measuring their clothing. Guys, when people are shopping for clothing on eBay, they're not able to try it on. They're relying on the size that's on the tag, and they're relying on your measurements. If you don't provide the measurements, there's a good chance the shirt or the item that they're gonna get isn't gonna fit true to size. And that happens every now and then due to people who are bigger wearing it, stretching it out, or putting it in the laundry the wrong way, or shrinking it in the laundry, whatever. There's a million different reasons why a shirt might not fit true to size. But at the end of the day, just include the measurements. If it's just a normal t-shirt, include the chest to chest measurement, include the length. If it's a long sleeve, include the sleeves as well. If it's pants, you wanna get the waist, you wanna get the inseam. If you're selling women's clothes, good luck. I don't sell women's clothes, but you're gonna have to provide a lot more measurements. But do your research, provide the measurements, and it's not only gonna help you to boost sales, because there are gonna be people who avoid your items altogether if you don't include the measurements, but it's also going to lower and reduce the amount of refunds that you get in your eBay business. So that's really important. Number 3, big mistake right here, is a lot of people who are new to selling clothing, they start to scale up their business to 50, 100, 200 clothing items, and they don't create a clothing or an eBay inventory system. This is really important, guys. You need to have a system in place to be able to find the items when it sells. I could still remember a couple of years ago, this was probably 4 years ago, I scaled up to like 200 or 300 items, and they were just all in my closet. And I can still remember not being able to find an item. I just don't know where it went. So if you don't have a system in line, you're gonna lose items, you're gonna misplace items, and having to cancel orders is gonna absolutely piss off your customers. Plus, it's also gonna have a big impact on your seller ratings as well and your feedback. So make sure you create a system. I will link up my system down below as well. So hopefully that will be able to help you guys out to stay more organized and avoid having to cancel orders when you lose your items. Because when you scale up past 200 to 300, you will lose it. You might think you're really organized, but trust me, it'll happen. I thought the same exact thing. Mistake number 4 that a lot of eBay sellers make when they're getting started with clothing is they're so excited about being in the thrift store. They're so pumped up about being at a garage sale and finding clothing items that they're not taking the time to thoroughly inspect items to make sure that they're in good condition. With clothing, you could have buttons missing, you can have tears and stains and cigarette smoke and all these different issues and little things that could be going on. Under the armpits, the lining could be ripped out of the blazer or the sport coat. There's so many issues that can occur with clothing that would put off potential customers on eBay looking for those clothing items. So take some time, guys, when you're at the thrift store, when you're at a garage sale, lay out that clothing item, inspect the front, the back, the sleeves, the buttons, the collar. Give it a little sniff test. Make sure it doesn't stink or reek like a cigarette, because that will put off a lot of potential customers as well. And another mistake along the same lines that a lot of new beginner eBay sellers make with clothing is they're selling a lot of damaged clothing. Now listen, guys, damaged clothing, it still sells on eBay, but for the most part, there's gonna be, 90% of the people aren't gonna want it, and it just takes a lot longer to sell, and the margins are much lower. So if you're getting started with clothing, make sure it's in good shape. Try to avoid any clothing items that have damage or issues. Mistake number 5, not preparing your items when you're taking photography of your clothing items, not putting it on a mannequin, okay? Yes, there are eBay sellers out there who do a fine job taking pictures without a mannequin. They're able to fold it up really nicely. I'm not that talented. I've tried to fold it up really nice. I am just literally handicapped when it comes to that. So for the most part, especially if you're a guy like me, get yourself either a dress form mannequin, which is gonna run you probably $75 to $100. It's worth it. Or if you're on a budget, get yourself a hanging mannequin. You can just put a nail in the wall or some type of adhesive thing, and you can hang the mannequin against the wall. The white wall will be your backdrop. That's what I use for the first year. It works. It really improves the presentation of the item, and it's gonna help you to increase your sales because it's gonna give your items a more professional look. So that's really important right there, guys. Definitely get yourself a mannequin. Go on eBay, go on Amazon. They're cheap for the most part, and it'll help boost your conversions. Number 6, big mistake right here that a lot of brand new eBay sellers make when they're selling clothing on eBay is they're only taking 1 or 2 or 3 pictures of their clothing items. Guys, you've got to take multiple pictures and multiple angles. So take a front picture, take an angled side, take an up close front, an up close side, take a complete side, turn the whole thing around on the mannequin, take just a side picture, a back picture, get up close, get the buttons. The more pictures that you take, the better, how do I say this? The better chance that you have of your customer saying, wow, like I can imagine that being on myself and looking great. I'm popping on that. I'm bringing that home. I gotta hit the buy it now button. So more pictures, it's not only gonna help you with boosting sales, but also I didn't mention that it's gonna help reduce returns as well, because it's gonna take away some of that buyer's remorse when they get it and they say, this isn't exactly what I wanted, or this really didn't match what I thought it was, or I didn't know it had this logo on the sleeve, or I didn't know it had this embroidery on the back. So take as many pictures as you can. eBay's actually went out and said this, that they will actually boost your rankings in the algorithm. They'll boost your search visibility the more pictures that you put on your listing. And it makes sense because it's gonna boost conversions and reduce issues. So 8 to 12 pictures, 10 to 12 really if you can, and it's gonna help out a lot. And the last, number 7 mistake to avoid when you're getting started selling clothing on eBay, or even if you're an intermediate seller, is try to stay away from the low margin, low profit items. I remember when I was new to selling clothing, I would go to the thrift store and I would find a Brooks Brothers shirt that had $4 or $5 potential profit in it, and I would buy it. And then over the 2, 3, 4 month period, I had a freaking death pile of like 500 items that I haven't listed because I was buying everything that had a potential profit in it. And the problem is you can't get to it all. And then you start to face the problem that, wow, like my time is worth more than $10 an hour, because it takes time to photograph and list and measure and ship and store and customer service. There's all these issues that come about when you're selling clothing on eBay. So try to stick to at least a $10 profit margin if you can. If you do have employees and systems in place and you're a little more of a seasoned seller, you can get away with the lower profit margins, again, because you have systems in place. But if you're a one-man show and you're doing everything on your own, try to stay away from buying anything and everything that has a profit in it. Try to be a little more selective. So those are the 7 tips, guys, for eBay sellers getting into clothing. Number 1, avoid bad lighting. Lighting is gonna be the most important thing to taking a great picture and standing out. Number 2, make sure you're measuring clothing. If you're not including the measurements, you're killing yourself. I promise you that. Number 3, create an inventory system so you're not losing your items and having to cancel orders. Number 4, big mistake is selling damaged items and not taking the time to inspect your items before you buy them with your own money and bring them home. Number 5, not using a mannequin. Number 6, only taking a couple pictures. Make sure you take multiple pictures. And number 7 is wasting your time with low profit, low margin items that eventually are gonna lead to a huge death pile and eventually is gonna lead to you burning out. So if you guys found value in this video, do me a big favor and smash that like button. If you like these videos and you wanna be updated when I come out with more, hit that little bell notification up top or somewhere on this page. I don't even know where the heck it is. And leave a comment down below and let me know if you have any more tips or ideas for the folks who are just getting started, or any questions that you have, drop it down below. But just want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.